and I just got done watching 1969's Kes, starring David Bradley, Freddie Fletcher, Colin Welland and Lynn Perry. This one I've seen a number of times before, and it's based on the book A Kestrel for a Knave by Barry Hines, which was necessary reading material for us. Well, I don't know if they still teach it, but when I was at school, it was something that we had to read. And of course then we got to watch the movie in class. So that was my main... I didn't know about it before then, and then obviously I've seen it since then. I've only watched it a couple of times since I got it on DVD, but it's still an enjoyable movie. For anybody that doesn't know, it tells the story of Billy, played by David Bradley, who, you know, is this kind of, he's got this much older brother and this single mother, and he's not really, he doesn't pay much attention at school. He's always, like, just disinterested with most stuff. Except then he stumbles upon a kestrel nest, and he gets a book, he steals a book from a local second-hand bookstore, which cracks me up that they show that in something that, you know, that this is viewing for generations of school kids. Yeah, it's okay to go steal books from second-hand bookstores. Of course, now they're giving books away these days, but back then, obviously, it was still a big thing to be selling books. But so he steals this book about falconry because he wants to learn how to train the kestrel. And then he takes one of the young birds from the nest and trains it himself, and this becomes his passion, and that is the main basis of this story, is just watching as he finally finds something that he's really impassioned by. But then, you know, there's all these problems with you know, his brother, who he absolutely does not get on with, and this is set in 60s Yorkshire, back when prospects were, you know, you left school and you went mining down in the pit. And Billy doesn't want to do that. His brother does that, and he doesn't want to be the same. So, except he doesn't put a bet on for his brother, and it turns out that the bet would have won, and his brother goes ape and kills the bird. And that's really, the end is very short. You know, you really feel emotionally affected by it. But you see Billy gonna go bury Kes, and the movie just stops, and there's no music for the end credits or stuff. And I get what they're trying to do, but the main problem with this movie, it's an amazing movie. It is a good adaptation of the book. The book isn't very big. As far as I remember, it's quite thin. But the problem is there is a lot of stuff in here. I get what it's trying to do, like, you know, social commentary and setting up the scenery and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff in here that's really not necessary. There's a bit where you see Billy, he's delivering newspapers, his brother's taking his bike and that, so he has to walk. And he takes a moment to read this comic, and it reads the whole, like, comic page. And I'm just like, there's no real need for this. And then later there's a scene with the ex-wrestler Brian Glover as this physical education teacher, and they had like this good, like, 10-minute long football scene that goes on, and there's unnecessary, like, they come up with, like, because the teacher Mr. Sugden, I think his name is, or something. But he puts them in like teams like Man U and Spurs, and then for whatever reason, each time they score, you get this little like subtitle text bit on the bottom, and I'm just like, okay. And I get what this whole PE session is doing, is showing, you know, what it's like, what the teacher, showing more of what the teachers are like, because seriously, the teachers at the school are brutal. And I think that's when you get one of the teachers that shows interest in Billy's love of Kez. You feel you finally get a teacher that you like. The thing is back then teachers were very strict and got away, obviously, with stuff like caning and stuff like that. But you know, they got away with a lot more than they do now. Even when I went to school, we didn't have caning. So, but teachers were a lot stricter then. And the ones here particularly are terrifying. I don't know, it was so funny when I was at school. I liked most of my teachers, but it's funny watching something like this at the time. And you're like, wow, it makes you more appreciative of what you have. The thing about that, the other thing I think could be a problem for international audiences is the very strong Yorkshire accent and slang, a lot of the terminology, language. I can understand that being a lot of problems for, like, especially American fans and that, watching this, going, I have no clue what they're saying. Me, I love the Yorkshire dialect. I'm struggling at the moment not to do this review in a Yorkshire accent. But I can imagine that being trouble. But a lot of it, it doesn't feel like many of the people in it are actors. A lot of the times it feels like the camera was put on and people just went ahead and did stuff. I love even some of the, we get so used to now microphones being put on everybody, and to have like somebody talking with a microphone above them, and then you hear this person quite distant, clearly not near a microphone, yelling out or something. It's a really interesting comparison to what we have now, and I don't dislike it. I actually kind of like it, because it does give you more depth of, like, the idea that there's somebody stood across the room shouting out, but not stood next to a microphone. So I do enjoy that. It just... it lags sometimes. That's the only problem with this movie. It doesn't feel... watching a lot of the... I'm more invested in the scenes with Billy training the bird and stuff. But it's not as big a part of the film as you would think it is. If this movie, which is like an hour and 45 minutes long, only focused on that, it would be a lot shorter. There is so much in this. Like I say, I get what they're trying to do with the assembly, with the teacher who's caning the kids for smoking and stuff. As a social commentary, it works. But like I say, I feel there's too much unnecessary stuff in there sometimes. But otherwise, it's a good movie. If you can get past the extraneous stuff, if you can just bear with it, if you can just love it for the core story that he's trying to tell, then it's definitely worth checking out. And if you've read the book, Kestrel for a Knave, like I say, it is a brilliant adaptation. Just bear in mind it was made in 1969 in England. So, you know, different, I can imagine they probably didn't have a particularly big budget and stuff like that, that a lot of stuff filmed at Pinewood or whatever was blessed with. But if you do get the chance, if you can get through the, like I say, the thick Yorkshire dialect, then please do check out 1969's Kes. That was tonight's movie. We'll be back again tomorrow. But for now, this is Sketch, signing out.